Hello and welcome to the Gnostic Warrior radio show and podcast, broadcasting from GnosticWarrior.com in San Diego, California, to around the world. I'm your host, Mo, and this is a special edition of Gnostic Warrior News. And in this episode, we're going to speak with Mirza Ismail. He's the leader and CEO of the Yezidi Human Rights Organization International here in the West. He's out of Canada, and in this episode, we're going to talk about the persecution and plight of the Yezidis now going on in Iraq and in Syria and several other countries in the world. They are being persecuted, they're being killed, their women, unfortunately, are being raped. This is just a tragedy that this is happening, and not many people are doing anything about it. President Obama came out this past week and said he was going to send troops back into Iraq specifically to help the Yezidis who were trapped on a mountain by the Islamic Caliphate called ISIS. And in this episode, Mirza is going to tell us about the situation and the plight of the Yezidis. He's limited on time, and we really appreciate him coming on the show to educate us. Thanks for being on the show today, Mirza. How you doing today?
I'm good, thank you, and thank you for having me on your show. As probably most of you know about what's going on against the Yezidis in northern Iraq now. That was August 2nd, was Saturday at midnight. The ISIS advanced an attack against the Yezidis in Sinjar. Prior to the attack, there were about 7,000 KRG militia there. But when the ISIS attacked Sinjar, unfortunately, the KRG authorities ordered the militia not to fight ISIS and withdrew its militia, and then they took the militia back to Duhok and Erbil. The KRG left the innocent, empty-handed Yazidi in the bloody, dirty hand of the ISIS. The Yazidis in southern Sinjar some of them had only very light weapons such as AK-47 and pistols, which was very, very hard to defend people with this type of light weapon. The ISIS had a very high technology weapon, which is just like the high technology in the West. The ISIS is supported mostly by the Saudi Arabia and other places and other rich country Gulf to build an Islamic Caliphate in the Iraq and Syria. As Yezidis, we are the ancient people of Mesopotamia. Our history goes back to 6,764 years now. The Yezidis, we are the children of 74th Islamic genocide against us, just because we are Yezidi, just because we have different faith.
A lot of us here in the West, we don't understand the various different faiths. So let's go ahead, and if you could please just explain a little bit about the Yezidi faith and the religion, and then also the new Islamic State, the Caliphate, and how they have quickly so risen to power. Can you explain first the Yezidi religion and why you're being persecuted?
The Yezidi religion is based on the four natural elements: the air, the fire, or the sun, the earth, and the water. If there's any of these four main elements missed, there would be no life. The Yezidis are old now, 6,764 years. The Yezidis are the very peaceful people. We love everybody. We respect every religion. And after the Islamic was introduced to the Middle East, unfortunately, the Islamic came by holy wars. There was no excuse or save the other or respect the other religion. We don't know. Sometimes we believe, like as human beings, we do make mistake, but God never makes mistake. But now we came to a point, maybe God made a mistake by creating the Yezidis and the Islamic State and in Iraq and Sham want to correct the God's work by wiping the innocent Yezidis, the Kildor Syrian, the Zoroastrian, the Coptic in Egypt, the Yezidis and Christian in Syria, to wipe them out and build an Islamic Caliphate. during the Mesopotamia, when the Yezidis, Syrian, Armenian, and Zoroastrian used to live, there was no mention of Muslim, or there was no mention of Arab and Kurdish or Turkish or Iranian. But unfortunately, because we have different faith, that's why we face many attacks. The Islamic, when introduced to the Middle East, they attack the non-Muslim faith. They say you have two choices, to convert or to die. And also they consider Yazidi as infidel people, because they say because you are not Muslim, you are infidel, so you have to convert to right religion or you have to die. So therefore, as Yazidi, we have been attacked 74 times now by Islamic holy war, what they call holy war. Actually, there's no holy war, but that's what they believe in. They believe if they killed a Yazidi, a man killed a Yazidi, like a Muslim killed a Yazidi, the Muslim would be rewarded in the next world with 72 virgins. So we don't know what idea do they have in mind, or what mythology they follow. But in Middle East, it is true. They came, and then they have been fighting the non-Muslim since the last 1400 years. Today, we thought the Yezidis would be safe because there's international community, there's super world countries such as United States, Russia, China, UK, France. We thought this country would be able to protect the ancient people of Mesopotamia, the ancient people of Middle East, which we have suffered a lot. It's beyond the imagination. During the Ottoman Empire, during the Kurdish rulers of the Blind Prince, they used to cut the pregnant woman's stomach. They used to cut their stomach to see the baby is boy or girl. So this is unbelievable, but this happened to us. And my grandfather was from Turkey, and he faced that genocide in the 1914 to 1918 by the Ottoman and Kurdish people in Turkey. So this is something is not new for us. Like the ISIS attack is not something new for us, or Islamic Jihad is not something new for us. They have been doing this brutal action for a long time ago now. But the problem we face today, many of the Western world or Western people, we don't know whether they don't want or they don't want to know about the Yezidis, Syrians, Zoroastrian, Kakais, and other ethnic group, which is totally distinct from the Muslim people. Now I am going to go and talk about the ISIS and when the ISIS attacked the Yezidis.
Sure, please do.
On August 2nd, which was Saturday, at midnight, 12 a.m., there were 7,000 KRG Peshmerga, which they told the United States, they told the UN that they are there to protect the Yezidis from the attacks from the Muslim, to prevent them and to save them. Unfortunately, when the ISIS came close to Sinjar, the KRG withdrew its forces and refused to fight the ISIS. And also they did not give the Yazidi any weapon. The Yazidi screamed and asked for the weapon. They say, you are not fighting for us. You don't want to sacrifice for us. Please give us weapon. You are leaving Sinjar. The way is clear. You're going to go back to Dhok or Erbil or Slemania or Zako. We are empty-handed. Give us the weapon. We're going to defend ourselves until the international community or international forces or Western world can hear, because we have a very good technology now. Things can be separate as it happened. The KRG refused to give the Yezidis any weapon. The KRG left the innocent, empty-handed Yazidi in the bloody, dirty hands of the ISIS. The Yezidis in southern Sinjar, people like probably 1 of 5 or 1 of 10 had some very light weapon for self-protection, such as AK-47 rifles or pistols, which that cannot be.
So just one out of 10 of the Yezidis had some type of self-defense or a light weapon. That was it, just 1 out of 10?
Yeah, it's
Okay.
something like that.
Okay.
It's not exact. It's not exact, but something like that, because they tried to take the weapon from the Yazidi prior to the attack. So some of them hid their weapons, and they say we want to keep it for our self-defense.
Why weren't they helping you? Or are they afraid, or do they work with ISIS?
Well, because it's an Islamic Caliphate, so it goes back to Muhammad.
Okay.
So it's not only the Arab, but the all Muslim were like during the Islamic Caliphate. So it's a mix. They are mixed. They are they are Arab, they are Kurdish, they are Turk. Even there are people from Afghanistan, Pakistan, and Africa people, Middle East people. They are from everywhere. They want to build an Islamic state there. And the Yazidis try to fight the ISIS, and the women and children try to get to the Sinjar mountain. So by the time about 6 or 7 a.m., there was no ammunition, and they ran out of bullets. They could not fight anymore. Everything was, their world flipped upside down. The ISIS came. They beheaded hundreds of innocent people. They beheaded hundreds of men in the street of the village of Catania, in the village of Al Jazeera, in the village of Al Bahat, in the village of Walid, in Sinjar city itself. It was a horrible situation. It was beyond the people's imagination. They raped many women, many elderly people could not flee because they could not walk. A large family with young children could not escape because they were on foot, and was like in the middle of the night. They didn't know, people were sleeping, and they didn't know, only just scream and shooting, and the wave of the ISIS came and killed hundreds of people in front of the family member, and they say like, now it's Islamic Caliphate. You want to die, you want to convert. You want to die, you want to convert. This is the only two choices you have. So they killed probably thousands of Yezidis there. They raped thousands of Yazidi women there in front of there. They went towards the mountain, they advanced, and then the local Arab and the local Kurdish people, which were neighbor with the Yazidi, some of them were only a couple of miles away from the Yazidi villages. The Arab, same thing. The Arab and the Kurdish became ISIS members right away. They raised the ISIS flag, and then they came and they attacked the Yezidis too. So they became the number of the ISIS became huge. And in Sinjar city, there it was a mixed city. There were some probably about 3% were Kurdish, and about 7% were Arabs. So these people, the Kurdish and the Arab, guided the ISIS into Yazid's home. Yeah, this is Yazidi home, this Yazidi home, this Yazidi home. And then the people who could not flee to the mountain or escape the ISIS, they lived in those dirty hands. The Kurdish and the Arab were attacking, knocking the doors. It's like, now we are here, you have to convert or you have to die. Just please, we are neighbors, we have lived together for a long time. They say, no, Islamic Caliphate is the fairest. Our religion is the fairest. You have to choose to die or to convert. So it was a tragedy. It was a very difficult time for the innocent Yezidis because of the new weapon technology. Some Yazidis, probably about 300,000 Yazidis, were able to make it to the mountain top, and they stayed there with no food, no drink for days. Many babies died. Many elderly women died of starvation. We did on August 7. This in around every city in the United States, and from Canada we went to the White House and made a peaceful protest in front of the White House. We thank the U.S. President for his immediate decision and for his immediate action. While we were there, Obama made a decision to send humanitarian aid right away, and he did it. We appreciate his help a lot. It was a lot for the Yezidis. He saved thousands of Yezidis, innocent people, men, women, and children. Also, he authorized the airstrike against the ISIS in Sinjar mountain. So this time, we didn't have any friends, but finally we found the U.S. was helped us as we were a part of the U.S. people. They helped us a lot, and we never forget that help. They saved hundreds of thousands of innocent Yezidis. And the help U.S. did was a humanistic help they did, and we appreciate it very much.
Mirza, I just wanted to say that I believe that you had a lot in that, and of course your fellow colleagues of going to the White House for your people in the Middle East and in Iraq. So I thank you for fighting all these years through the Yezidis Human Rights Organization International and bringing attention to your people and, of course, to President Obama. This has been some of the biggest news in the United States for the past week. You know, I would say that you and your organization have a large part in that. Thank you, and go ahead, please.
Okay, thank you. And now there is this in the Sinjar Mount, the ISIS were just advancing to the mountain foot. There was some spring water, underground water, prior to the humanitarian aid reached the Sinjar mountain. The Yezidis tried to come down to take some water, some bottles of water, or with different kind pots, stuff like that, to get some water for their children. The ISIS closed that route and went to those water springs. So the Yezidis were cut off. They could not come to take some water even. So many of them passed away of thirst and hunger.
And what season is it in Iraq right now? Is it summer?
It's summer. It's very hot.
Okay.
Probably about 120 degrees.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Yes. And after the U.S. humanitarian aid received in Sinjar mountain, and then they try to evacuate because there are hundreds and even, if not thousands, dead body on the mountain because of smell and people get sick. So they try to open a very narrow corridor through Syria to northern Iraq. So now at the Iraqi-Turkey border, probably there are hundreds of thousands of Yezidis family are refugees there. They are still outside. They are in schools, some other facility. The international, such as UN, has not built like a camp for them in that region, and we don't want UN to build a camp in northern Iraq because Kurdish was a partner in this genocide against the Yazidi. I know many people think this is not true because the ISIS is attacking Erbil too. It's right. They want to build an Islamic Caliphate. Whoever is against the Islamic Caliphate, they're going to kill, whether they are Kurdish or Arab or Turks or Iranian. Whoever they are against the Islamic Caliphate, they're going to attack and then they're going to kill. I know there has been fighting around Erbil for a few days now. So they say they fight Kurdish, so how come a Kurdish be a partner with the ISIS? Anybody against the Islamic Caliphate, the ISIS is attacking them. Even there are Kurdish attacking the Kurdish for the Islamic State.
Why do you feel the West is allowing this movement to grow and grow? We hear here in the West media reports, of course, the Yezidis being persecuted, but one of their big things is they want to take down the Americans and come here and spread their caliphate too. And I would think if I was a leader in the West, I would, send my military personnel to stop it right away, rather than letting it grow almost like a cancer. Is this due to our relation? It's
a real cancer. It's not like a cancer, but
okay.
The movement is a real cancer in the region. If they don't stop it, I'm sure it's going to spread everywhere.
You had mentioned in the beginning of the interview that they're backed by Saudi Arabia?
Yes.
Okay, and there are allies as well, Saudi Arabia.
Or the U.S.
Okay.
That's right. That's why sometimes we get confused. We don't know what to do or where to go because Saudi Arabia is very good ally with the West. And on the other hand, the Saudi Arabia is the main country who support the ISIS, and then they want to probably they support them against Iran. to build the Islamic Caliphate, and they say should be no more Shia. They go back to the era of Muhammad and Ali. That's a long time during their prophet. There was problem between them, and the problem started now again. They are going back in a state of going forward and build a better future and have more freedom and democracy. But unfortunately, they're taking back to the 1400 years ago.
Back to the Dark Ages almost.
Yeah, it was a dark age. Now, presently, there are more than about 200 Yazidi humans who were hostage by ISIS in Badush prison. They made an auction, and they're selling these women and young girls to other Muslims. They raping them, like 4 or 5 men goes to one 9-year-old girl. So can people imagine? We don't know how come the West is not doing something like, especially the women in the West, the freedom that they have, and they use this young girl, like 9 years old age, they're being raped by 2-3 men, by 4 or 5 those brutal militia,
Jesus.
ISIS militia, and they made an auction after that. Everybody, all women, I have some picture after I can send it to you. Everybody has to wear those face cover, and from the toes to head has to be black. We never had something like that. This religion is an open-minded religion. They want to live in peace and freedom. They want to have life, because we live only one life. And they just are very open-minded with everybody.
I agree with you, Mirza. I've definitely known you for a few years. We haven't spoken a lot, but I've seen a lot of your work. I helped a little bit on the website to help you build that. The pictures that we see of these young children, sometimes they'll, say it's a conspiracy and that this is not true, but what you're saying is these young children are in fact being raped, these young girls, and then they're also being dressed in these black gowns, which I've seen images of this, and they're handcuffed as well.
No, this is the fact, 100% the facts.
Okay.
This is 100% facts. Many of these young people, like in the villages, they have like they were hidden their phone, or in the villages somehow they still have some contact, but unfortunately, because of there's no landline, and mostly it's only just cell phone, and then the battery dies because there's no power. So for the first 3 to 4 days, these women contacted many of us here. They contacted to say, please tell United States to bring airstrike against everybody, against us. We want to die. We don't want to survive this way. We are one person, one woman, one girl, 4 or 5 of those people attacking us sexually, and they rape us. They say, please tell them to kill everybody, to kill us with them. We know that the West, they don't want to airstrike the villages because there are still thousands of Yezidis in. But they say, we are more than happy. We wish, we want, we ask you to destroy the ISIS here. So we don't mind being killed. Being killed is much better than this life for us. Until the 3-4 days first time, they contacted us many times, and they said, please tell the U.S. to do airstrike against all of us. We don't want to have life anymore. The life is over for us. It's a horrible situation. You cannot see. You can't, it's beyond the people's imagination. They are asking, until now, they are asking, they say, just wipe everybody there. Kill everybody, drop bomb, whatever they want to do it. We want to die and not to live in this life. So it's a very difficult time for them.
It is, Mirza. It is a tragedy, and I want to bring to my listeners this to their attention, that there's several women out there here in the West and other countries that enjoy freedom, and they don't have to worry about being raped, or let alone by several men and then being sold on the market. And your children, people out there, men and women in the West here, here's a country here in 2014 where children are being killed, they're being raped, and they're being sold unwillingly like slaves in the market. And, most of us aren't doing anything. We're just sitting, watching TV or playing on Facebook, taking selfies of ourselves while all these tragedies go on. It's a tragedy that this is happening, and more people need to stand up for the Yezidis. This could happen to us someday. You never know.
Well, if they don't stop this disease, it will come to us here too. If they don't stop it now, it's a disease. It's a bad disease, and disease could spread if you don't pay medical attention to bad disease. It's spreading very fast,
just like it is in Syria and Iraq.
Yeah, and they're like real cancers. There's no medication to cure this disease unless they by force they wipe them out. They are not like human beings. How come they have killed, beheaded hundreds of young Yazidi men in front of the family members with knives? They say, so this is going to happen to you if you don't want to convert. It's a very difficult time. Sometimes it's very hard for us to explain because as in West, you don't believe these things are happening really. But they are happening and 100% are facts.
Mirza, and I know it's very difficult for you to speak about this, but I know that you're doing these interviews with, here, me on the Gnostic Warrior. I know you have an interview in 15 minutes with the Washington Times. I've seen several news articles in you in the media lately, and I really appreciate you bringing this to the attention of the West and us here in the United States. I know you're in Canada, but it's difficult that you have to talk about these things, but I know you need to bring attention to the plight of the Yezidis. And I want the listeners out there to know that this is a real thing. And I've seen pictures, and we're talking to Mirza Ismail, who's a representative and CEO of the Yezidi Human Rights International. So whatever you guys could do out there to help the Yezidis and bring attention to the president and the White House to finish the job there and help the Yezidis more, but also to stop the advance of ISIS as well. Is there anything that you would like to tell the audience so they could help the Yezidis or your organization?
As the people in the West, and how the democracy and freedom look like. And on the other hand, when the 9-year-old girl being raped by several militia. So what's look like. If you enjoy life in freedom and democracy, it's wonderful. But on the other hand, they are just innocent girls, and just like you, they are innocent people are facing this genocide. Please help save those young Yazidi girls and women and help us to survive. These are the most innocent people of Mesopotamia, and we do need your help. And just I want to add another point: what's happening against the Yazidis at the border between Iraq and Turkey. There are thousands of Yazidi refugees are just lining up on that on the Turkey-Iraq border. The Kurd militia or the Kurd ISIS has already broken hundreds of cell phones. They say you cannot picture, you cannot do anything, you cannot call anyone. It's a very bad action going there by the Kurdish authority there against the Yazidis. So please tell your government to go and see it. Do not rely on KRG report, please. They are abusing, their report is, they are using people and abusing people there. Please understand the truth, what's going on against the Yezidis and Kurd Syrian in northern Iraq. Again, I would like to thank you so much, and thank you for all the listeners, and please help us in the name of humanity, in the name of God, in the name of people, in the name of suffering people. We do need your help. Please help save those innocent people. And thank you so much.
Thank you, Mirza. It was a pleasure speaking with you today, and thank you for your time.
Thank you so much, Mo.
Okay, take care and good luck on your next interview.
Okay, thank you. Bye-bye.
Okay, bye.